Otis, man. We clocking in. It is, man. Overtime with Otis, man. We clocking out. Man, you know what time it is, man. Overtime with Otis, man. We clocking in. Today I got a special guest, my guy Grant from Full Command. How you doing today, Grant?
I'm doing good, doing really good. 7:30 p.m., but I'm excited, man. There's so much to talk about. It feels like first thing in the morning. Felt like not the night before Christmas because that was the draft, but maybe like a couple days after when you're still playing with the toys. That's kind of how I feel right now.
Hey, it's about New Year's, new year, new us. That's how I'm feeling.
Yeah, no kidding.
All right, so this is your first time on my platform, so I want to get your story from the beginning. Where are you from originally?
I've lived all over the place in Northern Virginia. Currently, I live in. I probably shouldn't say where I live. I live about 10 minutes away from Washington, D.C. So, like, I'm right nearby. I'm like everybody else. I metro out to the games or I'll drive to the games. Something I discovered last season, fun tip for anybody who has a long commute, drive to the metro station by the stadium, park there, and then walk to the stadium because it's quicker than the metro and you don't have to fight the parking getting out of the stadium. That's a little tip that I saw on Reddit, and it worked pretty well. But I've been a fan my whole life. Came home from the hospital the day I was born when I was wrapped in a Washington blanket. There's like a picture of it that my mom loves to show off. So yeah, it's been a lifelong journey.
I got you. So who was your favorite player growing up?
This is gonna make people laugh because I know a lot of people got some more grays than I do. So I haven't really been exposed to the greats of the game. My favorite player growing up was Chris Cooley. I don't really know what it was that, you know, when you're a little kid, you don't really make rational decisions. That was just the guy that I latched onto growing up. Actually, I'll give an honorable mention too, and this one's probably even funnier. I liked LaRon Landry, and I think it's because when I was a kid, I used to search NFL hardest hits compilations, and so I just wanted to see the big hits. And LaRon Landry, if he did one thing, he was trying to knock some teeth out of people. So I think that's probably why he was up there.
You would always see that number 30 flying across that field.
Yeah, and then he started doing steroids, and he got out of the league pretty soon. So it is what it is.
Okay, what's your favorite memory growing up as a Commanders fan or a Redskins fan originally?
My favorite memory growing up. I don't know why. So I was at a game. We were playing the Giants, and we ended up winning the game. I don't remember the score or anything. But I remember I had two jerseys. I had a Jason Campbell jersey, and then I had a LaRon Landry jersey like I was just talking about. And I was young. I was probably 7 or 8 years old, somewhere around there if I were to guess. And when they were on offense, I'd have the Jason Campbell jersey on. And when they're on defense, I'll rip it off and I'll have the LaRon Landry jersey on. And I remember just like I was a little kid, obviously, so all the adults around me were like going crazy. They would call me like the biggest fan, but that was a cool moment. I don't know why. I have a thing where I just very vividly remember random moments of my life, and that's something that I remember very vividly.
Okay. Let me see what's up in the chat. Yo, what's up, X Cali? My guy right here. Shout out to you for clocking in with me, my guy Darian. Okay, my guy Travis takes the loop. He a big Bears fan, so me and him be going back and forth. That's my guy right there.
Ooh, all right, spicy.
Gemini Real, she clocking in. Shout out to her for clocking in with Overtime with Otis. Okay, so what's up, X Cali?
These are some of my guys. Trey, Scale, what's going on, my people?
Shout out Trey for clocking in. We out here. Okay. Shout out Shay. She clocking in too. So let me get a couple more of these questions before we get into these draft picks. Okay. When did you start making content?
When did I start? So I would say, I mean, I've dabbled in different things here and there over the years. But when I created the channel, I want to say I made it last April, but then I didn't really post on it. I want to say I started in June. It's kind of when I started consistently posting. And it's funny you actually asked this question because just the other day, I went back and I watched my first video on the channel, and I was like, oh, I don't know why people watch me, man. Like that was painful. There's no way I should have posted that after I recorded it. So it's cool. You know, it's a learning process. It's fun to look back on where you were. But yeah, if I were to say consistently uploading, I would say we're coming on like 9 or 10 months or so.
Okay, that's about the same with me. I started at the first Giants game because I was always contemplating it, and I was telling my wife, I was like, see, the year I start making content, we would be bad. Like the year before, it really pushed me to make the content because I'm over here talking to them about it. They was like, man, you need to find some people online to talk to about this. You need to make some money off this if this is what you like doing. You like talking about the Commanders. He said, what's good? He said, what's good, Trey? Is this true right here, man? You was a professional singer before you?
No, this is so wrong. I was singing, you know the song "You Gotta Know When to Hold 'Em, Know When to Fold 'Em."
Yeah,
I can't sing for you know what. I don't know if I'm allowed to curse on this channel, so
no, you can.
I can't.
You can.
All right, I can't sing for shit, just flat out. And I don't know why, but recently I've been singing a lot in my videos, and I sound worse and worse with every video. So now it's kind of just a running joke. But yeah, I was singing in my video earlier today, so.
Hey, look, if that's what your supporters want, man, you got to bring on them notes.
Nah, see, Trey is actually a professional musician. So when he says he wants me to sing, it's just for his entertainment. He's trying to get me to embarrass myself.
He trying to get you to embarrass yourself. You gotta know when to hold on. Okay. Trey in the chat. That's Callie in the chat. Okay. Key the Goddess. She clocking in with Overtime Otis. Okay. Make sure you guys like the video. Yeah, shout out to Shay, man. Like she said, make sure you guys like the video. Make sure you guys subscribe to me and my guy Grant from Full Command. He makes that good Commanders he makes that great Commanders content. That's why I watch him. Okay, let me get back.
See, I gotta take notes on you or from you on the Instagram though, because the Instagram's popping. I'm stuck. Like, I do not know what I'm doing on that platform.
Man, just keep posting, because once you keep posting, somebody's gonna see it, somebody gonna repost it. Like me, I'm gonna take it, put it on mine. I'm gonna have a couple people that follow me put it on there, just like that. You just gotta, for me, it's really networking. Like the more that I network, because before this, I'm not posting pictures online. I'm just going to the games for my own enjoyment, taking pictures. But I'm like, man, I gotta network. And this, you gotta network for real. It's who you know. It's really who you know.
No, facts. I didn't actually reach out to anybody for really until like 2 months ago. I didn't talk to anybody. And I actually didn't watch anybody either, because in my mind, I was like, I don't want to subconsciously take what other people are saying and just repeat it and that make my channel watered down and boring. It was never anything against anybody else. I was just very in my own head. And then a couple of months ago, I really started just reaching out to people. And like you said, it's been really cool to, making new connections with everybody else in the community.
Oh, yeah. But, you know, and I was still feeling like the same way because I was watching Ed Oliver because, you know, we bought the kicker in for minicamp, Drew Stevens. So we bought him into minicamp, and I was watching Ed Oliver video, and he put out the video an hour before me. I was like, dang, should I put this video out? And I'm like, you know, he might say it this way, I might say it that way. So you know how it is, man. Everybody's gonna follow each other and watch each other, everybody's videos. They're like, man, I missed this in his video, but I seen it in Grant's video.
Okay. Yeah, everybody's gonna talk about the same thing. So as long as you stay true to yourself and you just say what you want to say, not someone else is saying, it's fine.
Especially this time of year, because there's nothing to really talk about. Like before the draft, we really had to make different things to talk about that didn't have anything to do. It was just crazy. Okay, my guy Trey said his daughter's happy. You mentioned her, man. Shout out to you. Shout out to your daughter, man. Okay.
Yeah, Trey's one of the OGs, so I appreciate him.
Shout out Trey, man. Travis takes the loop. Already know, man. Travis stay tapped in. Okay, my guy, he said you gotta tap in. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's really just jumping out there. So this lead me into my last question before we get into these draft picks. What advice would you give to somebody that wants to start making content?
Ooh, hit the record button. That's all it is. Like I said, I went back and I watched my first video, and it was pretty bad. And the funny thing is, it was definitely a lot better than some of my early stuff. I try to podcast with my boy. We have one that we still do, but we started like years and years ago. A while ago, I actually started a sports betting company. No longer do that, but I was making social content for it. And same thing, like when I started off, it was awful and it got better and better over the years. So really just, there's nothing like reps. You know, they say it about professional sports. The more reps you get on the field, it's the same thing. If you're funny, if you're intelligent, if you have a nice personality, like you don't have to be great at everything. You don't really have to be good at much. But if you're good at one thing, as long as you just keep working at it, people will come listen. So hit the record button. If you don't like it, record it again. If you like it, put it out there, and you'll grow eventually.
Definitely. Just like Shay said, man, you gotta take that leap of faith. Just like me, I got on when I first downloaded StreamYard, I was acting like I was an 80-year-old grandpa or something. Man, where is this at? Where is that at? That I'm like, all right, man, let me just sit down, take a little minute to figure out what I gotta do. Definitely. So let's get into these questions about the draft. What grade do you give this year's draft?
Ooh, like an overall grade?
Overall grade.
All right, I got to run through this real quick in my head. So I'm going to be thinking out loud.
Mm-hmm.
So what I will say is my judging criteria is based on realistic options. So, for example, I know the Commanders didn't pick in the second round, but just bear with me. Let's say they had the 50th pick and they wanted a running back and they got Jadarian Price. And I'm not going to judge them off of, well, they didn't get Jeremiah Love. That's not possible with the 50th pick. In the real world, Jadarian Price went 32nd to the Seahawks. Like, if you got him 50th and you wanted a running back, that would have been good value. You addressed the position of need. You got a good player. So that would be an A or an A-plus pick, even though Jadarian Price, not like an A-plus player relative to everybody in the draft. So we have to be fair. You only have access to possible outcomes. So if I'm going through this, Sonny Styles, I don't want to say he slid because he went 7th, like he didn't slide, but he wasn't even expected to make it to 7. I thought he was the best player available at 7. He's the most athletic linebacker to ever test at the combine. So I think that's an A-plus pick. Your next pick is Antonio Williams. Some people, and I get this criticism, say that he's not a Z, which is like the void in the offense right now. You have Terry as the X. Ayuk would be the Z if he comes here, but Ayuk isn't here. AP has drafted 3 slot receivers. No one else. So I get the logjam that's created there. I still think Antonio Williams is a really good player. And clearly they thought he was the best player there, or else they would have drafted a Z. So I'd still give that like an A- or so. A, because I think Antonio Williams is good. You get to Josh Josephs. A lot of people thought Josh Josephs had like first or second round talent. Didn't have the raw production or the consistency, but he's got the upside. Matt Golden, according to PFF, was one of, if not the best center in college football last year. You get to Katron Allen, and then you've rounded out with Ethan. Overall, sorry, I kind of had to think out loud there. I know it's a long-winded answer. I'm going to say my overall grade is, I'm going to say it's an A. I was going back and forth between A and A-. I'm going to go with an A. I think he did a really good job. And it's not just my opinion. If you look at the charts, which plot expected draft value versus what you got, it's the Commanders or the Panthers as the top 2 in like every chart that you show. So not just me, but backed up by the numbers.
Okay, let's read Trey's comment right here. I'm struggling with this too. Do they lose points because of less picks available? What do you think?
I would say no, because the reason they don't have picks is because they have Laramie Tunsil. You know what I mean? Like that's worth a second or fourth every day of the week.
Solidified that left tackle spot. And I'm gonna give the draft a B+ because I definitely still wanted to help Jaden more. But like you said, at 7, the best player on the draft board was Sonny Styles. So I was like, we do need a linebacker. So, and he's I'm not going to put the Chase Young, the generational talent, but it's like the step below that, the step below generational talent. I'm gonna call Sonny Styles that because what he's projected to be, the projection of Sonny Styles for sure. So, but I'm gonna give it a B+. But I want to see how Antonio Williams works out for us because his quarterback's not Jaden Daniels. Jaden Daniels is gonna make good players better. So I feel like us getting him is gonna, Jaden Daniels is gonna make him way better.
What Commanders fans will learn to appreciate when they see Antonio Williams is he gets open early. He doesn't have 4.2 speed. It needs to be 40 yards down the field to run past somebody. He's not 6'3", where you need to throw him a jump ball because he can't do anything other than run a go ball. So you need to give him time to get down the field. He gets open quick. He knows how to find soft spots and zones. And that's invaluable to a quarterback, especially when there is this lack of weapons on the field, because it's easier for defenses to key in on guys, but if you can't stay in front of him, there's nothing you can do. So I genuinely think as a rookie, he could get like 50 or 60 catches.
That's what I was hearing some draft analysts say. And I was watching some of his film, and he's a smart receiver. When he was going across the middle on the post, he slowed up. So when the quarterback threw it to him, he knew where the safety was. He was like, let me make sure I can catch it. So I was like, okay, we need receivers that are going to make the quarterback's job easier. And he's real twitchy. He creates separation. That's what we needed. Because like Jaden Daniels, he usually has to throw you open. He's going to throw to the spot where you have to be so you can catch it, where you have space from the defender.
Yeah, I say this about Terry. Terry ran a 4.3. Terry's not a 4.3 receiver. He doesn't play like that, but he doesn't need to. It's about playing at your speed and keeping the defense off balance. And that Terry is phenomenal at that. And that's kind of what Antonio Williams has. He can be, he's sudden off the line, but like you said, he's really good at messing with his tempos.
Yeah. And then a lot of people were saying Antonio Williams, he was the engine of that of that where do you go? Clemson. Of that Clemson offense. They said he was the engine of it. When he was injured, it just all went to shit. I was like, dang. So I had to do a research, and I was like, okay, I like this guy. Well, let me see. We say if they spent on someone who isn't good, we got Laremy Tunsil for the picks. Yeah. So what do you feel? How do you feel about this?
Yeah, I mean, this is basically what I said. If you look at this draft fairly, you drafted Sonny Styles, Laremy Tunsil, Antonio Williams, and then Katron Allen and Matt Goldman and the rest of the guys. So yeah, if these were the picks that went for Lattimore or Debo and they're not on the team anymore, it's a much different conversation. But you got a top 3 tackle in the NFL, and you got him for the next 3 years. So you can't negatively judge that.
We have the quarterback's best friend, his safety blanket, his blind side solidified for the next 3 years. And the Redskins of past, we had people in and out. Since Trent Williams, it was just stopgap people every time. My guy Trey says, I don't agree with you, S. Cali, but does that count? Oh, no, that's the one before that. Let me see. I'm not too sure, but I'm happy with what we've done. That's all that matters to me. Yeah, I'm happy with the direction we're going in. Because before the draft and before free agency, I was like, it was kind of doom and gloom because I was like, I don't know which direction they're going, but I see they're going defensive heavy, so they don't want anybody to be able to do what the teams were doing to us last year. Because I was at that Seattle game last year, man. They put 40 on us, man. I had to leave early, and then I was going down the hill to that metro. I was walking down the hill, and then I hear the stadium erupt. And I'm watching Louis T in Rio. I'm watching Louis T on Rio on my phone. I'm like, let me get their commentary of this guy. I know they talking crazy. Man, Louis T just like, I gotta go. They broke Jaden's arm when he dislocated that elbow. I was like, man, this is crazy.
I don't know how, to this day, I don't know how that was a 3-week injury. I thought he was out for 6 months when I saw that.
Yeah, I thought
his arm was on backwards. He was like Mr. Potato Head.
And our fans are crazy. They were like, they better not put Jaden back in there. It's the season's done and stuff like that. And it was still like, what was it, 2-3 weeks left, and they were still thinking about putting him in.
Yeah, it was. So I want to say Seattle was week 9 or week 10, and then he came back from Minnesota, which was week 13, maybe week 14. So it was a nasty time. I'm glad we're past it.
Speaking of which, Otis, I wanted to bring up a point I brought up in Grant's Discord. JD's receivers had a drop rate of 11%. That's absolutely nuts. No, definitely they were that's another thing about Antonio Williams. They said he sometimes has a case of the drops.
So in 2024, it's funny. I know roughly the advanced numbers off the top of my head, but I want to make sure I get them exactly right. So just give me literally 5 more seconds to get this pulled up. 2024 was considered his breakout year because that's when he had 900 yards. He had 75 receptions. Those were career highs. But if you look at some of the advanced numbers, he had a drop rate of 9.6%, which is bad. Like if you throw him 10 passes, he drops 1 of them. That's really bad. Last year, which was the year he was injured, basically the entire season, he only had 1 drop all year. It was 1.8%. And if you look at his yards per route run, which is like the best measure of efficiency that you have, it's better than yards. It's yards per route run. How efficient are you on a per play basis? He also set a career high in that while battling through an injury. So as much as people look at 24 as the breakout year, he was actually better in 25. It's just the team was a lot worse.
Okay. I definitely get that, because we don't need any more case of the drops on this side, because 9 is close to 11 what we had already. But like I said, Jaden Daniels, he could throw to anybody. He really can. He said his adjusted completion percentage, completion plus drops / attempts, is around 78. What do you think about that?
I mean, Jaden didn't get help from his receivers, and I think we know that. But I mean, also that shouldn't come as a surprise. He was throwing to Robbie Chosen and Jacoby Jones and Ja'Cory Brooks and Tay Martin, and of course, how could I forget the legend Chris Moore? Those are the guys he was throwing to for the majority of the season. Even in week 2 against the Packers, there was a critical 4th down in the 4th quarter, and as much as they got their ass kicked in that game, it was still a 9-point game in the 4th quarter. Like, they had a chance to get, and it was 4th down, and the players on the field were Jalen Lane, Ben Sinnott, John Bates, Chris Moore, maybe, and someone else. It was just, what are we doing here? This is not a competitive football team that's out there.
Man, when I seen that, just that Green Bay game was terrible. But were you one of the people that seen it early last season? Like the decline or the way the season was going to go?
No, and to be fair, I mean, they started the year 3-2, and that third win was the loss of the Chargers game where they smoked them. But everybody got injured. I mean, I don't think they're going to be good regardless. Don't get me wrong. But I think they could have gone 8-9 or something like that. I'm not using injuries as an excuse, because they weren't going to have a winning record. Most likely they weren't going to make the playoffs. But when you're out there with 3rd and 4th string guys, there's nothing you can do to a certain extent. Like, you're just going out there to die.
Last year, it was historical injuries. Like, we know, okay, 1 or 2 guys have a major injury, but it was everybody. I don't know if the field was cursed like the 49ers or something like that, but it was so many injuries last year. Let's get to my guy's Trey comments. He said we drafted Tunzel minus the bong mask. I see what you did with the Jeremiah Love. I was like, man, let me.
Oh, you saw that?
Yep. I said, man, let me re-click this. He got to get the 7.
Yeah, that was good.
My guy Dre said, all right, great. Gotta run. Great. Good chat, fellas, man. Shout out to my guy Trey, man, for clocking in with us.
Shout out to Trey.
Let me run through these comments. Share the live. Jim and I Rail says share the live. Yeah, make sure you guys share the live, man. And make sure you following me and my guy Grant from Full Command for the great Commanders content. Commanders stand up. Divine Leo, she clocking in. Shout out to Divine Leo. We got all the clocks in the chat. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, Chris. Okay, don't do that slideshow. Bob Cook and got cut. What?
I don't know who this is about.
Yeah, me either. Don't do that slideshow. Bob cooked and got cut. Who's slideshow Bob?
I have no clue.
Oh, he talking about Robbie Chosen was the 3rd stringer averaging a 10-yard catch. That was
there will not be any Robbie Chosen defending. I'm sorry.
No.
Like,
definitely not.
God love him, made a lot of money, had a couple of good years in the NFL. It's over now.
Oh, yeah, no, it's through. It's through. It says, I got to get up with you soon. Oh, got an idea. All right, man, just let me know, man. You know, well, I'm trying to step my content creating stuff up. I'm helping everybody out. Let me see. Okay, let's get back to these notes. Let's get back to these questions. Okay, boom, boom, boom. Okay, or is there any position you were shocked that we took, like any draft pick that you scratched your head on?
I'm not going to say scratched my head. When they brought in Ethan Kaliakmanis, the quarterback they took in the 7th round, when they brought him in for a top 30 visit, honestly, it was just me being stupid that I didn't think in real time they would draft him in the 7th round. In hindsight, they telegraphed that because he stuck out like a sore thumb. Everybody else they brought in was an early round guy, and then you bring in a guy who's going to be round 7 UDFA. So I should have known they were going to take him. I understand that there are going to be people out there who say, okay, why would you waste a 7th round pick like that. You found a starting running back, Bill Cross-Kamara, in the 7th round last year. Like, why would you do that? My answer is it's a cap move. You're hoping that first of all, you paid him dirt, and you're hoping that he can become QB2. That saves you about $8 to $10 million a year with Marcus Mariota's cap if you feel comfortable enough to move on from Mariota. And $8 million a year is what Leo Chanel is making. So if you follow the chain of events, it does make sense. It's just not a very sexy pick right now. Honestly, I think the most surprising thing for me was Josh Joseph's, but it's nothing against him. It's a good pick because of the upside and how late they got him, the value that was there. It's just that edge room is stocked now, and they didn't get another corner. They didn't get another safety, and that's the effect of making that pick.
Our edge room and our linebacker room is stocked. Didn't we get somebody else with the linebacker in free agency too? Because Sonny Styles is going to be Sonny Styles. I don't know if Bobby's coming back. Would you want Bobby to come back to train Sonny Styles and show him?
All due respect, I've got a jacket here in my closet. Anytime I talk about Bobby Wagner, I always go out and grab it because I want to put on the gold jacket. I want to show that like I'm giving him his respect, and I appreciate Bobby Wagner for what he did for the team and what he's done for the NFL. But I don't want him on this team. You got to turn a new leaf. Hand it over to the young Bulls.
I got you. Let me see. My guy Travis said the Bears got a lot of head scratchers. Y'all got Dylan Thiesman, my guy from the Ducks, man. Y'all, who don't you like on your team, Travis? Because me and him was going back and forth. I was like, man, I like y'all draft. I got a couple tight ends. They got a tight end, Dylan Thiesman. They got a couple picks that I like.
The LSU wide receiver Xavier Thomas. That was they got Malik Muhammad, which I think is good, but they kind of reached, I think, on Xavier Thomas. He was projected like round 6, round 7. They took him in round 3. So,
but see, with Ben Johnson over there, I think anything's possible. I don't bet against Ben Johnson because I don't know if he had a Jaden Daniels first year on the Commanders, but Ben Johnson's different. Like when I seen what he did in Detroit, I loved the way his offense was. Like when we wanted a head coach, my top coach was Mike Vrabel because he was available at the time, and I don't even think we interviewed him. But then my second was Ben Johnson.
My number 1 was Mike McDonald. My number 2 is Ben Johnson, but I love Ben Johnson.
Mike McDonald wanted to come too. I heard last minute they swooped in and offered him more.
Yep, pretty much.
Our edge room is nice, but that Giants edge room is absolutely absurd. Man, the Giants, they're going crazy. Oh, and you remember I hit you up and I thought they were going to trade that pick. I was wrong about that. I gotta chalk that one up. I was wrong about that one, man.
I still don't understand. I mean, Arbel Reese is nuts and his potential is ridiculous, but Harbaugh said they're playing him as an inside linebacker, and he's not as good of an inside linebacker as Sonny Styles is, and he was there. So I mean, if you wanted that, why not draft Styles?
Yo, it's Tremaine. Great content, brother. Shout out my guy, man, T, man. He's a big Commanders fan, too. Make sure you go follow the Full Command Show because my guy Grant has the great Commanders content. So, hey, look, you know how me and you talk content all day? Yeah, follow Grant. He does his thing on this show. Travis takes a loop, and Ben we trust. I'm trying to tell you, Ben's the truth. I think I was watching Rio, and he was like, we needed someone, an awkward offensive coordinator like Ben Johnson. I think we got that one. And we what's the dude's name? The ex-quarterback that we got as our coordinator right now?
David Blau.
See, and then he coming in with a nickname. I heard Louis T say Bliggity Blau. I was like, man, hold up. All these nicknames, you gotta get established before we get these nicknames. Okay.
David Blau is definitely awkward. I'll say that.
Yeah, he's awkward for sure. But see, I like his I like the competition because I guess they brought out the video of, I guess his wife's she runs track and he was competitive. I was like, yeah, I need that in the wide receiver room or even the offense because I heard him and Jaden go back and forth with throwing competitions and stuff. And I know you've seen the documentary, Diami documentary.
Mm-hmm. Man, watch that live on stream.
Man, I like Diami for doing that because it seems like our players, they're like so low key. I think Frankie Louvu said he's coming out with one now, but I'm like, man, Diami had to be the first one for us to get some insight because I was telling my wife, I was like, man, I want to see not media trained Jaden Daniels. Like I want to see like just like how he was in the video doing his thing, like acting like normal. I don't want him to be all suited up and acting serious. I want him to be like a young star quarterback like he is.
Yeah, K'Lavon Chaisson put out a video. That was cool. Watch that. My favorite interview, and this was from the Commanders YouTube page, but it was with Charles Omenihu. And I liked it because he actually spoke about the defense. It wasn't coach speak. He said, this is what we're doing. It's a 3-4 under front. We're going to use single blocks, and this is going to happen. I was like, oh, he's actually telling us about the scheme. He's not just saying, yeah, I like the coaches, and I'm excited to be here. Let's get to work. Now he actually said something with substance.
Okay. Okay, my guy Z Money checking in. Shout out to you for clocking in with me, man. Speedy recovery to you, man. Okay, let me see. In this. He said, I think I'm about to do content too. I have so much to say. Been a fan since 05, and the team is now getting some type of stability, but got to be patient. Got a dog at 7. Nah, for real, we definitely got to have a dog at 7. And just like I was telling Grant here, me and my guy Tremaine, we always go back and forth. Man, what you think the Commander's going to do here? What you think we should do? It's just a group chat, man. We be circling ideas, man. Definitely you need to start making content because he's a big Commanders fan for sure.
Okay.
Let me get back to this. Okay, are you shocked we didn't draft a corner or a safety?
I'm not going to say shocked about anything. I will go very surprised.
Okay.
And for me, it's safety, because while the cornerback depth is thin, because right now they really only have 4 corners you could actually roster. It's Amik Robertson, Mike Sainristil, Trey Amos, and Ahkello Witherspoon. Those are your 4. There's really not a 5th that you're comfortable. You're talking about like Darius Rush, Trey Hawkins III, Carlin Viggers. It's not going to be one of those guys. They're going to have to sign somebody or trade for someone. With the safeties, they have 6 of them, and they kept 6 guys on the roster last season. But you have Jeremy Reeves, who I understand took a step up on defense, but he's going to be known as a special teams guy. Percy Butler's a special teams guy. Tyler Owens was a special teams guy. So, yeah, you had safeties, but you didn't have defenders in that position. Safety was the deepest position in this entire draft. So I thought round 6, round 7, I was saying for like a month leading up to the draft, you can have a starter in year 2 or year 3 in round 6, round 7. So I thought they were going to get a safety because all the ones they had on the roster, again, either they play teams or they're all box safeties. The only exception is Quan Martin, and they benched Quan last year. So you're putting your eggs in one basket on that. And if it didn't work out, you didn't really have a backup plan. So I was surprised that they didn't add to that position specifically with a true post safety.
Okay. Yeah, I think I seen Jalen Kilgore still on the board when we had a chance to pick. And I was like, man, right there, South Carolina, you might as well go get it. But I guess they're seeing something we haven't seen, because those guys like Jartavius Martin, I don't call him the word with the Q, Jartavius, him, he got benched last year. We weren't seeing any. Well, but this is what I will say. Let me scale it back real quick. Everybody regressed. That's just like the last year with Ron Rivera here. Everybody regressed. So if I'm seeing the same thing this year, my wife always tells me, man, stall Dan Quinn out, man, stall Quan Martin out, give them one more chance. And if they mess up this year, then they're through with them. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go into this season. Like I told her, I don't even want to. I'm so superstitious when it comes to the Commanders. I don't even want to put a number out there like how many games we'll win and lose. I'm like, man, I just want to go in the season open-minded. I want them to win whatever they do. We're going to keep it pushing just like that.
Yeah, if it doesn't work for Quan, it's the final year of his contract. So,
oh yeah,
he's done.
Oh, he's gone. Just like Daron Payne. After this year, it's a wrap for him. Okay, S. Cali says, what are you guys' legitimate opinion on Sonny Styles' pass rushing upside? I know that Advantage Statistics say his pass rush is pretty similar to Reese, but how much weight does that actually hold? I'm going to let you go first.
It really depends on how they decide to utilize him. He was used a lot more as a blitzer in 24 than he was in 25. And part of that was because Arvell Reese was such a weapon for them in 25. He didn't really play much in 24. Like he wasn't the guy that we knew him as in 25. So with this defense, the Vikings defense, and we have to be careful to say that the Durante Jones defense is not going to be a replica of the Brian Flores defense. So you don't know exactly what it's going to look like. But if we are just using the Vikings as a baseline, a lot of their game was based on pressure and deception, messing with gaps, filling gaps so you could have your blitzing linebackers coming through. That's why they like versatility so much, because you never want your opponent to know who's blitzing, who's manning up, who's dropping back into coverage, right? Like they like sim pressures, they like all sorts of games. So ultimately it depends on how they deploy Sonny Styles. I don't think he's an edge rusher. Like that's not his future like it might be for Arvell Reese, but he is a really good blitzer. And even if he's not getting to the quarterback, like even if he gets jammed up by a running back in pass protection at 6'5" with his athleticism, just simply getting arms up and jumping, that closes off passing lanes. He can knock balls down at the line. So I'd say the upside is pretty high. I wouldn't expect him to go crazy, but could he get like 4 sacks, maybe 5? Yeah, I think he could do that. He got 6 in 24 at Ohio State. So yeah, I think with his speed, size, strength, he can be a really good blitzer.
Just like you said, he definitely could be a great pass rusher, but I don't want that to be his main thing. I want him to stay at Mike. He lining people up. And if he has to blitz, send the blitz. And another thing I've seen about our defense, we're trying to be able to send someone for anywhere. We could send a corner blitz, send a safety blitz. That's why I was seeing the people that were bringing in like the Meek Robertson. I was seeing they'll send him on a blitz sometimes from the cornerback position. So I'm just like, okay, I see we want a more aggressive defense, and how we're going defensive heavy. They don't want the opposing team to be scoring on us because they ran the score up last year.
Yeah, if you look at the depth chart right now, like when we talk about, I mean, obviously your defensive line is your defensive tackles are trying to get after the quarterback, although that's not like, they're not really the ones doing it. It's the blitzers and the edge rushers. If you just look at that group of players, they have added Odafe Owe, Leo Chanel is a really good blitzer, Sonny Styles, Kayvon Chason, Joshua Josephs, Charles Omenihu. We're already at 6 people. Dorrance Armstrong's coming back from an injury. Frankie Luvu's still there. You're at like 8 guys who their specialty / a really, really big strength in their game is getting after the quarterback. So like you said, when you line up, like the offense better have done a lot of film study, because it's going to be tough to identify where the pressure is coming from on any given down.
And then our defensive coordinator is unproven. There's no film on him. So they don't know how our first game, whoever we play, they're going to be in the dark. They're going to be in the dark with the scheme we're going to do.
Yeah, totally.
So that's the advantage we have. Okay, my guy Tremaine said, I think they're going to put Martin in the slot. I think he's going to be a lot more corner than safety this year. They're going to try to get the best out of him because it's second round pick. Yeah, like Grant was saying, this is last year, so he has to prove it this year, because we can always go young. We can always go young at safety. Because I thought, I was like, maybe we like Caleb Downs.
And Durante Jones spoke about this. He actually said in his press conference, he spoke about Quan being versatile. He liked him coming out of college, said he could play nickel. So I think that's kind of what triggered that thought for people. The fact that he mentioned it in his introductory press conference, which meant it was on his mind. My only concern, like I said earlier, is I just don't know who's playing the post in that situation. Like between Reeves and Harris and Cross and Owens and Butler, none of those guys are great at guarding deep 30 yards downfield, middle of the field. So I'd be interested to see how they made it work, but I wouldn't be surprised if this happens either.
So quick question. Are you okay with putting Trey Amos as your number 1 corner starting next season?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
I think he showed that he could be a good NFL corner in year 1. We didn't really get a chance to find out how good, because the play around him was just abysmal, and he got injured halfway through the season. But I think he's good. He's got size, and also the blitz heavy scheme should mean routes develop quicker. So you're not going to be isolated. Like a big thing the Vikings did a lot was they used palms and they matched it with blitzes. So essentially it's cover 4 on the back end, and you're capping vertical routes, but you're giving your DBs the opportunity to jump routes if they develop close to the line of scrimmage. And you marry that with a 5-man, even 6-man blitz up on the line of scrimmage. So the defense is saying you cannot throw deep, and we're getting after you quickly, so you have to throw short. And you've got to just paper cut us the entire game. So even if Trey Amos, has to guard like a JSN, I don't even know who our opponents are, but like even if he has to match up with the best receivers in the league, I just don't think he's going to be isolated on them and really give them a chance to put their best moves on him, because things are going to be happening quickly.
That pass rush is definitely going to help out our corners, because last year where we didn't have anybody get to the pass rusher, man, they were getting torched on the outside. They were getting torched everywhere last year. Shout out to Naira, man. She clocking in. This my cousin right here. She's one of the reasons why I started making content. She said, man, you gotta get out there, man. You gotta do your thing, because she's a big Commanders fan too. Okay, Gemini Rail, you gotta keep pushing for sure. Gotta keep pushing, making that content. Okay, S-Cal, I think the moves we made so far are pretty much confirmed. We're moving to a defensive heavy, similar to Flores. I love Brian Flores' defense because he's aggressive. I definitely think what is it? Durante Jones? That's our defensive coordinator.
Yeah, Durante Jones.
Okay, Durante Jones, man. I feel like he's gonna take a little bit out of Brian Flores' book with the being aggressive, because even the players we bringing in, the players we're bringing in shows that aggression. I'm looking at all their tape. I'm looking at the tape on them, and they're aggressive. They're sending blitz from everywhere. Everyone has speed. They're punching the ball out. That's another thing I'm seeing. The people we're bringing in causes turnovers. Like in Sonny Styles is in his tape, I seen him dive and jump and catch an interception. I was like, man, other players of other teams we had, they just let that fall right to the ground, and the team will be back at it later. Let's see what my guy Thomas said. Okay. So with the added addition in the linebacker room, where does that leave Luvu? And is Bobby someone you think about bringing back as veteran presence for Sonny? Well, my guy Grant already said, man, put that gold jacket on Bobby and send him to retirement.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Bobby Wagner, it's interesting because if Bobby's playing, he kind of almost has to be on the field every snap. Like the thing. For you to bring him back, you are saying you value certain things about him, and those things you would value, they're like leadership, intelligence, getting the defense in the right calls, making the right checks, things like that, fundamentals, being secure in your tackling between the tackles. And like you have to have him on the field all the time to maximize that. But if you do that, you're making one of your other linebackers useless because they're not playing. And also, like, again, with all due respect to Bobby Wagner, he just was not playing at an NFL speed really for the majority of last season.
Yeah, and for those times that Bobby Wagner was getting burnt by the running back or the tight end and he couldn't catch him, I bet you Sonny Styles will catch him. Sonny Styles will be right there to hawk him down. They're not even going to get that much separation on him as a tight end or a running back.
To answer the rest of the question, where does that leave Luvu? So I'm actually planning on making a video about the linebackers. It might be tomorrow, the day after. But it's really one of my biggest questions coming out of free agency and coming out of the draft. Because when you look at the Commanders roster, when we talk about true linebackers, like not your edge rushers who are going to play linebacker, like Odafe Owe technically is going to play jack linebacker probably, but like he's a defensive end. He's rushing the quarterback.
Edge rusher.
We're talking about actual linebackers. You have Frankie Luvu, Sonny Styles, K'Lavon Chaisson. I guess he's not like, he doesn't have to rush the passer, although he's going to do that the majority of the time. Leo Chanel, Jordan McGee, and then even Kane Madrano, who's not going to be at the top of that pecking order, but like he's going to be competing to get on the field every now and then. That's a lot of bodies for what is really 3 spots that are available to you. So the way that I see it, and this could change based on what we see in training camp, based on what we see when the season begins. The way I see it, you have your edge rusher wherever they're playing. I think it's Sonny. I think Sonny's going to be the Mike. I think Chanel is going to be the Sam. And I think Luvu is going to be playing inside as the Will next to Sonny. I do think Sonny, even though he's only 21 years old, he's going to be a rookie. I do think he's going to be the green dot this season. And I think Luvu is going to be next to him. But it is an interesting question because if they really like Jordan Magee and they want to get him on the field, the path is blocked. So does that mean you look to trade Frankie Louvu, especially because it's the final year of his contract? Like, are you sure you want to extend him? These are just questions that you have to consider because of how many people you have in that linebacker room.
And then Durante Jones was talking about Louvu in a press conference, and he said he loves when he's going downhill and not necessarily what we had him just everywhere last year in coverage and stuff like that, because I seen a totally different Frankie Louvu last year than the year before. The year before, he was wrecking the whole shop. The Eagles fans, they hate him. They hate him for what he did to Jalen Hurts. But, man, I definitely want to see Frankie going downhill and rushing after that pass rusher, because him in coverage, it's not the best.
Okay. And one final thing before we move on. I forget who I was listening to. It might have been DQ. It might have been AP. But somebody was naming the linebackers on the team, and they said Sonny and Louvu and Chanel. Like, they named all the big guys, and they did not name Jordan Magee. And I don't know if that was on purpose or if that was like a Freudian slip. And it's an indication that, hey, Magee might not be on the field very much this year.
He wasn't last year, and that's another thing. That's my questioning for Dan Quinn. The development of players. Like, I feel like we don't really develop players that good, or even in our draft. Say we draft a 7th round pick or a 6th round pick. We don't develop them in the next 2-3 years. They're turning out to be even depth on the line or on the defensive line or wherever they're at. That's what we got to get better at. Okay, my guy Trey said, isn't Harrison Smith a free agent? I know he's old, but he definitely could put him back there. I wouldn't want him because, like they said, we trying to get younger and faster. I don't want any, what they say, AARP guys. I don't want any old heads. Like, we need younger. Like, that's why I wanted to draft. I wanted to draft a safety. What's your opinion on the Harrison Smith?
I would have to see how things shake out. I'm not horribly opposed to it. But again, it's like he's kind of he's smart enough to play deep, but he's getting older. He's kind of someone else who wants to be a robber. So he also wants to come down into the box. I don't know. Honestly, I would have to wait to see how like training camp and stuff is going and see if that's a position in need.
I feel like he's a little bit past his prime. My guy T. Rich bringing Tim Settle is back is going to help our pass rush on the line too, for sure. I like Tim Settle, Manassas guy, a Virginia guy.
Yep.
And he's going to come back. He's coming back more polished than he was before, because when he was here before, he was a young whippersnapper. He was wet behind the ears. They said Hibbett Payne should have a field day. Man, I hope Daron Payne shows up. Like, this is the last year of his contract, and you know what they say, like, him, when it's time to get paid, he always, performs. Like, I think it was like a couple years back when we were playing against the Broncos, and he wrecked every single play for one drive straight. It was him. And I'm like, man, I know you have that dog in you, but we don't see it much. Like, it disappears. And then another thing with Daron Payne, I think it was when we were playing Philly. I think it was the NFC Championship. I think he didn't play or something like that. It was one important game he didn't play. And I'm like, come on, Daron, you one of them veterans that you gotta stick it out. I think it was his foot that was messed up. He had like a foot injury or something. I was like, man, you gotta stick it out, Daron. Okay, Gemini Rail, make sure you guys share the live. Let's run these numbers up for sure.
Facts.
Okay, thoughts on Downs going to the Cowboys and Lemon going to the Eagles? I'm gonna let you start it off.
Downs to the Cowboys sucks. Like, there's no way around it. During the entire build-up to the draft, I always said Caleb Downs was the best player in college football, and I stand by that. I think he was better than Sonny Styles. I think he was better than Fernando Mendoza, Jeremiah Love, anybody. I mean, he's a 3-time All-American in 3 seasons of football. He was an All-American at Alabama as a freshman, and then he was a unanimous All-American last year. He might have been unanimous All-American the year before that too. The guy's just incredible, and he is exactly what Dallas needed. It's a home run pick for them, and it sucks, but there's a bit of like funny irony that Arvell Reese goes to the Giants, Downs goes to the Cowboys, and Styles goes to the Commanders. I mean, I guess the one benefit is it's just going to be a cool storyline to watch the 3 of them, former teammates on the same defense, matching up in the NFC East for years to come. But it's a great pick by the Cowboys. And then Mekhi Lemon going to the Eagles. I think it's a I really like Mekhi Lemon. This is nothing against him. I think he's a horrible fit in Philly because Jalen Hurts does not like throwing the ball quick, does not like throwing the ball over the middle of the field. Like he's timid. He looks like a dog when there are fireworks going off. He's kind of sitting there shaking. He likes to sit in the pocket for 4 seconds behind the best offensive line in the league. He likes to throw one-on-one jump balls outside the numbers to Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown. That's Jalen Hurts' best ball. Like, that's what he's actually elite at. He's not really elite at much else as a quarterback, but he does throw great balls outside the numbers. But Mekhi Lemon's a slot guy, which isn't bad, but in this offense, it is because Jalen has to be willing to pull the trigger on those passes, and he just hasn't shown an inclination to do that. So I think Mekhi Lemon is awesome. I just think that's a terrible fit.
Do you think A.J. Brown's going to get traded?
For sure. Yeah.
For sure. Okay, I'm going to give you my opinion on Caleb Downs. Also coming into the draft, I thought he was the best player. I thought the Commanders honestly would have took him if Sonny Styles wasn't there. Because us getting Sonny Styles when the Jeremiah Love went at 3, my heart was broken. And then when Carnell Tate got taken by the Titans, I was like, wait a minute. I didn't expect for him to go that early. I expected for it to be between Carnell Tate and Caleb Downs. So I was like, okay, I'm willing to go either. I'm either helping Jaden or I'm getting a dog on defense. So I'm like, man, I'm not really mad at that because we got Sonny Styles. I'm like, all right, as long as we got Sonny Styles, you know, you're gonna get your players, we're gonna get ours. And Mekhi Lemon, I feel like he brings that energy of Philly, you know, that dog energy. He's gonna bring that to Philly. And I retweeted. I think I put on no, it wasn't retweeted. I put it on Instagram. It was Mekhi Lemon. He was staring at Jalen Hurts, and it was like Mekhi Lemon staring at Jalen Hurts because he gets 1 yard for he gets 1 catch for 13 yards a game. I was like, nah, for real, because he gonna hit him with that podium stare. He was like, man, what the heck you doing? I thought Caleb was the best player into the draft until the Cowboys got him. This people gave Sonny Styles. Man, I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Like I said before, we won't get burnt by the Bijan Robinsons of the world coming out the backfield and Bobby can't tackle him, or some tight ends getting off on Bobby. Like every situation, I'm seeing Sonny Styles catch him. Sonny Styles is absolutely going. He runs the same 40 as Bijan.
Yeah, I mean, he got a 10 out of 10 on the RAS, and Leo Chanel got a 9.99. It's the most athletic linebacking duo in the history of the NFL.
I want ours to look like how Green Bay's linebackers were looking when they shut us down.
They looked like superheroes against us.
Man, they were beaten. And then you see my guy Jaden. I was like, man, Jaden, he want to talk to Micah Parsons, but I'm like, man, Micah Parsons is sacking the mess out of you. Don't talk to him. We need to score. You need to stay upright. And then that was another thing about, I was happy we got Sonny Styles too, because what Dan Quinn did for Micah Parsons, like even in the interview I was watching Sonny Styles when he got drafted, Micah Parsons said, man, DQ could take you from here to here. So I was like, hey, hearing that from somebody who already been down that road and telling Sonny Styles he a linebacker, he see the potential in him.
Yeah, I noticed that too when I was listening to the Micah interview.
I was like, man, all right, let me get back to these questions. I'm gonna get you out of here. I ain't gonna hold you up all night. Okay, any positions that you think this team still need help at? Like you'd be like, this might be a weakness.
Oh, for sure. I mean, don't get it twisted. This team's roster last year was awful, and that's not me saying everybody was awful, but the aggregate, the overall was awful. Just like the year before, it was awful. They should never have been in the NFC Championship game. If you take out quarterback play, they were a bottom 10, bottom 7 roster in the NFL, but Jaden was just out of this world. He was an MVP level player and he elevated them. Wide receiver is still it's still a weakness right now. Terry McLaurin is your ex. Long term, I mean, he's going to be 31 this season. You don't know what he's giving you in the future. I have high hopes for Antonio Williams. I think he'll be good. Doesn't change the fact he's still a rookie. And then your Z receiver is Luke McCaffrey, who's probably best as a slot, or it's De'Ami Brown, who's never had more than 300 yards in a season, or it's Treylon Burks, who has 2 touchdowns in his entire NFL career. Like, that's an obvious weakness, and that's why Brandon Ayuk is a must. Even if Brandon Ayuk is washed, you have to find out because you're just not ready to go at that Z spot. And then defensively, questions at cornerback, questions at safety. I don't have the answers to the questions. but there's not a guarantee. Like, I can guarantee the left tackle is good. I can guarantee they'll get pressure on the quarterback. I can guarantee they have depth on the defensive line. Cannot say that about the secondary.
Okay, yeah, secondary scaring me too. Okay, since you brought up receivers, who do you think is on the bubble for the receivers? Like, if BA comes in, who do you think that they'll let walk?
Oh man, you're making me you're spoiling some of my videos because I'm doing a 53-man roster projection. That's another video that I got coming out this week.
Yeah. Hey, look, don't give it up. Don't give it up.
I got you. If Brandon Aiyuk is added to this roster, for me, the people that are in trouble are Treylon Burks and Dyami Brown, and one of them misses the roster. And I have my opinion on it, but I think it has to be one of those two because Terry's not going anywhere. Antonio Williams obviously is not going anywhere. Luke and Lane, I put this out on Twitter, and a lot of people were saying it's got to be Luke or it's got to be Lane. I'm like, they were draft picks within the last 2 years, third and fourth rounders, and they were both playing at all pro levels on special teams. Like, return wise, they're two of the best returners in the entire NFL. So they are not going anywhere. So that's 4. We had Brandon Aiyuk, and that's 5. They're not keeping 7 receivers because if they were to do that, they need one of those guys, really maybe even 2 of them, to play coverage on special teams. And Treylon Burks is not playing teams. Dyami Brown is not playing teams. Brandon Aiyuk is not playing teams. So the limit is basically set at 6. And you've got 5 guarantees. Dyami Brown, Treylon Burks, and then technically Van Jefferson, but like, he's not making it. Those are the guys fighting for the last spot.
Man, for me, my opinion between Dyami and Burks, I'm like, Burks, I'm the type of person that I like the big receiver, but you don't have to have it, but I do like that option. Just like when he caught that catch against Denver. But I feel like maybe Dyami might be more durable because, like, wasn't it just before that game he caught a catch, broke his finger? I was like, man, this man has glass bone, paper skin.
Yeah, and in his NFL career, keep in mind, he was a first-round draft pick. It's 11 games, 5 games, 8 games.
Yeah. Not even, I don't know. So, look, let me ask you this. So, when do you think the 49ers give up on Brandon Aiyuk?
Sometime after June 1st, because that's June 1st is an important date for people who don't know in the NFL calendar. It has to do with when dead cap money and cap hit payments are spread out to a new year. Basically, if the 49ers cut Aiyuk before June 1st, they take on like a $35 million dead cap hit this year, something insane. If they wait until after June 1st, it becomes like 15 million this year and 20 million next year. It's something more palatable. The thing is, they could release him now and designate him as a post-June 1st release, and they could get that same benefit. But the fact that they haven't done it shows that they're not going to. Like, they're just being petty, and they're holding out for this trade that is never coming their way. So I actually, right before we started recording, I looked up when 53-man rosters were due, and if I'm not mistaken, the date on that was August 26th. It might be August 25th with them. They might hold out to the literal last moment possible and then say, all right, we lost. We got to release him now.
Okay, let me get into this one. Okay, Trey said Downs is good, not trying to take anything away from him, but he was able to do that. All he did was because his defensive line, I think it's not gonna be the same in Dallas. Yeah, Dallas's defensive line is definitely not gonna be the same as Ohio State. Ohio State, they have athletes, but I feel like Caleb Downs is gonna bring that energy. He definitely gonna bring that energy. He gonna make that secondary better. And Dallas always like almost there. Like, they're the almost team. Like, they're good enough to beat the brakes off us, but when the good teams come around, they're not good enough to do it.
And I mean, their defensive lines, I mean, they have Quinnen Williams, who might be the best defensive tackle in the sport. Kenny Clark is like not bad. Rashawn Gary is not bad. He's not good, but Kenny Clark and Rashawn Gary next to Quinnen Williams is a solid defensive line. So I hear you that it's not going to be the same as Ohio State's, but it's also not going to be bad.
Yeah. Look, it's better than ours for proven. Maybe I say for the time being, until we step up next year and see what it is. I say there's better than ours. They said Downs only dropped because they came out with that report, the degenerative knee, and even though he's never had issues with injuries, Dallas lucked up. That might have been half the reason why he fell. And then some people were like, they might not have wanted to take a safety that high.
Yeah, that him being 5'11", not running. I think there are like very, very small things that caused him to drop a bit.
Mm-hmm. That's just like Diego Pavia. What's your opinion on him?
I don't know how we ended up talking about Diego Pavia. That guy sucks. He's terrible. He played like 7 years of college football, which I have a problem to begin with. There should never be a 25-year-old playing college football.
Yeah.
He posts F the Heisman voter. I forgot. Fuck the Heisman voters. Forgot I can swear here. This guy's just a clown. I'm glad that he's going to disappear from the public spotlight.
Man, the people, I feel like another thing is because he didn't get that agent too. He didn't get an agent. They said, you're not going to kick that money out. Oh yeah, it's a problem for sure.
And his reasoning was he didn't want to give up 10% of his money. The NFL rule book states agents can't take more than 3%. Like he was
just saying anything.
He's just dumb. He is dumb. He is a dumb person through and through.
Man, he was saying anything. Okay, as Scally said, it's crazy to think it might be actually fun to watch this defense this year. Man, this defense is going to be aggressive. That's all I'm going to say. It's going to be a lot. It seems to be a lot of blitzing. That's what I'm seeing from all over the field. You don't know where it's coming from.
Yep, for sure.
Okay, let me skip to the next one. I got T-Rich. Okay, so do you feel Rachaad White will be a wide receiver premiumly for us instead of a runner, just like the Eckler role? He will catch out the backfield for sure because he can catch. But yeah, I say he might be playing that Eckler role for sure.
Yeah, he's gonna be catching and lining up in pass pro. He's gonna be almost exclusively a third down back now that they got Kaytron Allen.
You said about our developmental. Honestly, where the hell is Ben Sinnott at? He said, when is he gonna be get a true chance? Man, I don't know if Ben Sinnott, if after this year, if Ben Sinnott can't get on the field, I feel like they're gonna have to let him go. Isn't his year? Wait a minute, what year is this? Year 3 for Ben Sinnott?
Year 3, yeah.
Well, he signed a 3-year or 4?
4.
4. Okay. Yeah, I feel like they might gotta let him go because I want a true tight end. Yes, we have John Bates, the best blocking tight end in the league, but I want a true tight end, just like a wide receiver. The Antonio Williams, yeah, he's a weapon. We definitely need weapons like a Debo. You can go out there and catch. You can catch out the backfield. You can take a reverse. We need that, but I wanted a true wide receiver. All you do is go out there and catch. I need that opposite of Terry.
Yeah, Ben Sinnott. This is where I get myself in trouble because I defend a lot of people, and it's not because I'm an optimist. I'm actually a pessimist by nature, but I also recognize logic, and a lot of people just like to jump to conclusions. Ben Sinnott is an H-back. He's a fullback tight end hybrid. Now, should someone like that be drafted in the second round? That's a totally different conversation. The answer is obviously no, but that's what he is. There's not a worse fit of any position for a Cliff Kingsbury offense than Ben Sinnott. So with David Blau going to more of this play action style, you'll see him line up at fullback. You'll see him line up as an H-back where he's like this tight end that's off the line being brought in motion. He'll set wham blocks. You'll get tight end leaks from him. He'll be the second receiving option in 12 personnel. Like, you're going to see more. This is going to be Ben Sinnott's year to actually do something if he can do something. He basically didn't have a chance his first 2 seasons. I don't know if he's good or not. I have no clue. And like I said, you should not have drafted an H-back in the second round. But like AP said when he called him on draft day, you remind me of George Kittle and Kyle Juszczyk. You're not getting that in a Cliff Kingsbury offense, but David Blau wanting to emulate the Lions, have this West Coast style, that is where those players are required. So this is essentially year 1 for Ben Sinnott when it comes to proving himself.
I want them to use him as an H-back this year because it's like he's just kind of taking up a roster spot. But I'm a Ben Sinnott. I like Ben Sinnott. I liked him when he was in college. And then would he catch that was a fake punt versus the Eagles for a touchdown? Like, I'm like, you see potential there. You see flashes for Ben Sinnott. That's why it's like I don't want to give up on him. But I'm like, if the people that see you every day don't want to give you a chance or don't even want to give you a play, like they could write up a play for you and see what you got. I'm like, they don't even want to give you a chance. Like, that's the thing that scared me about them. I'm like, because I feel like we need to get something out of every position. People can't be on our team just getting by this year, because the fans really getting tired of that. I'm getting tired of it too, because it's like once you spending your money on the team and stuff like that, you're like, come on, man. Just like last year. Last year I had the season tickets, and I'm like, we got waxed. I'm like, yeah, I don't want them this year. I definitely don't want those this year, because I'm like, I don't know what direction we're gonna go. Because I was thinking from 2024, I was like, yeah, let me get these season tickets. We might be back on the mountaintop, but then it was like downhill from then, and it was like that was the year I made the content. Just I was like, it was hard. It was hard that for this first year. Okay, my guy Travis said, any other sports you guys watch besides football? You watch any sports besides football, Grant?
I watch a lot of soccer. I watch a lot of basketball. People don't know this about me. Basketball is actually my first love. Really, until I made the channel, I would say I knew more about basketball than I did football. It's changed a lot because I've put in so many hours, like literally not just on YouTube, but like watching coaching clinics and watching film, like trying to just get smarter. But basketball was always my favorite sport to play, and for most of my life was my favorite sport to watch, believe it or not.
Okay. What's your team?
My team is the Wizards, but I also root for wherever LeBron goes. So I'm a Lakers fan for now.
I'm gonna put it for my basketball team. I'm a Miami Heat fan. I'm an honorary Wizards fan because I'm from the DMV area. So, I'm an honorary Wizards fan.
Yeah.
But I don't really watch too much I only watch basketball in the playoffs, honestly. I feel like there's too many games. Like, you could miss this 10 games and it don't really affect it. You just seeing some highlights. Some highlights or something. Okay, my guy Trey, I think you make a move for safety like that when you have an elite linebacker play, when you have 3 potential Pro Bowlers at left tackle. Watch this defense be aggressive like Greg Williams used to be. Yeah, like we said, me and Grant was saying, this defense is going to be aggressive for sure.
Yeah, they've got cap space. They've got their draft picks back for next year. If there's the right buy now opportunity, I think wide receiver, cornerback, and safety should all be in play.
Yeah, definitely. And I can't wait to see this defense. Okay, Divine Leah, she said, yeah, Wizards. Hey, them Wizards fans in the chat. But, man, Grant, appreciate you for stopping by with me on a Monday, so that means a lot to me, because them Mondays, man, they be dragging throughout the day. I luckily got off work early, so that's why I was hitting you up. I was like, man, we can get this show in, talk about it. But make sure you guys go follow my guy Grant at the Full Command Show. He makes that great Commanders content, and you already know what time it is, man. Overtime with Otis, man. We clocking out. Let's see.